So with Doom Eternal finally being out and everybody stuck at home quarantining themselves, I'd imagine the majority of us basically did the same thing. And that was completely no-lifing the story. And that leaves us all with only two options now, which is one, to comb over all these missions, gather the seemingly endless amount of collectibles in these missions, or to hop over to the multiplayer and see what that's all about. And this multiplayer is different, to say the least. It's definitely fun, but there's some things that you need to know hopping into this. So what we're going to be doing in this video is giving you a general basic rundown of what's going on in this multiplayer, as well as some tips when playing specifically as a Slayer, or i.e. Doom guy. And the reason why this is specifically aimed at Doom guy is because I want to be precise, and when you're playing as the demons, each demon class has different abilities and powers you can choose from, so we'll focus different videos on that stuff further down the line. But the basic idea of this multiplayer is you got a 2v1 situation. You have two demons that are controlled by people that are trying to work together to try and overwhelm the Slayer and kill him. Meanwhile, the Slayer has to kill both demons in order to win the round. Now, if you're the Slayer, you actually have to kill both demons relatively quickly, or in quick succession of each other, because if you kill one demon, if you don't kill the next demon within 15 seconds, the first demon you killed respawns with half his health. The first side to win 3 rounds wins the game. So with that being said, it's ideal as a Slayer to try to keep both their health relatively close to each other, so that way if you do manage to kill a demon, you can gather your resources from his corpse, bounce off of it, and try to finish off the second demon as quickly as possible. If you're just getting started into multiplayer 2, I highly recommend, before hopping into a game, looking at the Slayer's abilities. These are abilities that you get to choose in between the rounds once you start a match, but the reason I recommend you do it before jumping into a match is because when you're choosing in between a round, you're only given, I want to say, about 15 seconds to pick an ability. If you're someone that doesn't really perform well under pressure, you're bound to make a mistake here. So I recommend having a general idea what some of these abilities do, just to make it easier on yourself, because some of these things do come in handy, from having your dash regenerate a little bit faster to having enemies drop a little bit extra health. Now, there are a couple things to know here. I can't necessarily say what is the best ability to get and in what order to get them, because that depends on two things. It depends on the kind of player that you are, and it depends on how these two demons are playing. If the demons you're up against in this match are a little bit more aggressive, the first two go-to abilities you might be looking at would either be Resource Drain, which gives you more health when you kill enemies. Also, something to keep in mind, there's a stark difference in multiplayer from the campaign. Whereas in the campaign, in order to get your health back, you have to perform glory kills. In the multiplayer, you can kill something with a shotgun and get health back that way. As long as you kill something, you will get health, unless they loot block you. So again, if they're a little bit more aggressive, it would either be Resource Drain or Burning Hate. Burning Hate reduces the amount of time that you have to wait in order to use your flamethrower. It also drops more armor for enemies that are on fire. Now, if the demons you're up against are a little bit more laid back or a little bit more passive, you're going to want to go for dashing. Dashing is going to be the way that you're going to close these gaps between you and the demons. They do move a little bit faster than you, but if you dash towards them, that's ideal. This ability not only regenerates your dash faster, but it also allows glory kills and chainsaw kills to instantly refill your dash meter. Now, personally, I find myself using Burning Hate, Master Carve, and dashing the most, but honestly, this is all going to depend on that first initial round where you're up against those first two demons and you get that feel for their playstyle. If they're a little bit more laid back, you're going for dashing. If they're a little bit more aggressive, you're going to want to look at Burning Hate for armor or Resource Drain for your health. I mean, that's just what works for me. I'm sure everyone's going to find something a little differently. It goes based, again, off of both your playstyle and how these demons are interacting with each other and trying to take you out. But once you're in a match, there's some advantages that you do have as a Slayer. You are able to use portals, which the demons cannot access. You can also use jump pads and handlebars that the demons cannot use. Utilize this stuff to advantage. As a Slayer, you do not want to corner yourself. You want to be aware of everything that is around you. It's also a good idea to try and juggle all the equipment at your disposal. Remember, unlike the campaign, you do get health from enemy kills, so if you come across a weaker enemy and you're a little light on the armor, I'd recommend quickly doing a flame belch and then finish him off with a shotgun, or if you're desperate for ammo, get a chainsaw kill. So the name of the game here is just keeping the pressure up, staying on the move, and making sure that you don't corner yourself or make it easier for them to kill you. It's also a good idea to take advantage of grenades, and there's a very good use for the rocket launcher, which we'll talk about in a second. But a very quick pro tip, regardless of what map you're on, where you spawn in, there's usually a very close portal nearby that you can run through, and when you do this, it'll put you right behind the demons. You'll see it right here. This is on the map Extraction. Right when you spawn in, there's a portal directly behind you. I wait till about the 2-second mark, I back up, and it puts you directly behind the demons. Right here, this guy waited because I did it to him the previous round, so he was catching on. He still didn't know exactly where I was coming from, but this is effective on the majority of the maps. They will spawn you remotely behind where the demons are, and it's kind of hard for them to gauge where exactly you're coming from. Also on the demon screen, the portals come up red, so they kind of blend in, like if they're just part of the environment. So if you're not aware of it, if you're playing as a demon, the Slayer can just pop up out of nowhere and completely mess you up. And lastly, like I mentioned, on the rocket launcher. Now in the multiplayer, they give you almost all of the weapons with the exception of the BFG, and they give you these weapons maxed out. So all of the weapon mods that you may or may not have inside of the campaign are at your disposal inside of the multiplayer. Just like in the campaign, you can switch up these mods on the fly, but the rocket launcher specifically in its remote detonation mode, I don't remember exactly what it's called, not the mode where you lock on, but the other mod, that one is used perfectly when you have groups of enemies bunched up, or when they're behind a wall, or when they're healing. What I recommend, when they heal, you can kind of see them inside of this blue light force field. Shoot a rocket in the center of it and detonate it by hitting the detonation button. Of course, it's got a pretty significant blast radius, and it doesn't look like it hurts them too much, but it does stunt their healing a little bit. I mean, this rocket launcher is perfect for someone that's constantly running away from you, or like I said, if they're healing. What I'd recommend is detonating a couple rockets in there, running around, try to find an enemy to chainsaw, and then do it a couple more times, and then rush him with a shotgun. That's gonna go to wrap it up for this video. I was going to add some other extra stuff, like how to exactly tell what kind of class the demons are running, because they can play as an offensive, a defensive, a support, or a summoner, and depending on the kind of demons you come across, that's the telltale sign of what class they pick. But I decided, I'll save that for another video. If there's any questions, comments, concerns, any bonus tips you guys want to share, please feel free to write all that stuff down in the comments section below. If you guys did enjoy this video, do me a favor, drop me a like, as well as maybe consider subscribing for some more bonus tips for the multiplayer as well as the campaign. But like always, guys, my name is Cynic. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all later.